Hello and welcome back to another Breakfast Club Pattaya video. My name is Mark. Now, if you're new around here, because I noticed that we did get a few new subscribers, basically the Breakfast Club was a Facebook group that I set up around about 10 years ago, and what we've decided to do over the past 17 videos is bring some of the places alive from our Facebook group to YouTube, and it has been a fantastic success. So thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers. But today we are going to be trying out a breakfast which is, I call it almost the viral breakfast. It is steak and eggs, and we are on Pattaya, Sunflour, and we are at the famous Sunflour Village Eatery, and we are going to be having one of their signature dishes. And if you want to find out what it is, then you're going to need to stick around. This is Sunflour Village Eatery. Let's go and check it out. I'm going to go for the Boss Breakfast. Okay, this place is probably one of the most popular places on the Breakfast Club. It actually came to life on the food group when all of a sudden these most amazing pictures of this steak and egg breakfast, which is what we've ordered today, started to almost go viral and get loads and loads of likes. So Sunflour has actually been open since 2024. Basic information, it's open from 9 o'clock in the morning and it closes at 6:30 at night. It's on Pattaya, Soi 4, and if you want parking, it has to be, I'm afraid, street parking, okay? Now, the menu, which I'm just gonna go through, they're pretty proud of their menu. I have to say, it's really original. You don't get an English style breakfast here. That's not what we're doing, but their steak and eggs is absolutely awesome. They don't just do steak and eggs, and I'm just gonna go through a few things. They have things like loaded omelets, they've got breakfast quesadillas. One of them is called Scream It, which is 3 scrambled eggs, tomatoes, onions, peppers, mushrooms. It's almost kind of like American style breakfast here, okay? The rest of the menu, I'll be honest with you, I normally only get as far as the Boss Breakfast because the steak and eggs is absolutely fantastic, but they've got things like bun on the run, they've got pancake stacks, they've got sandwiches here, they've got grilled cheese and tomato. They've got a great selection here. You can obviously check out their full menu, and they've got a Facebook page, and we'll put a link actually to that right here. So I'm really excited to actually be trying the Boss Breakfast out today, because I really want to show you guys what it's all about. Right, well, the breakfasts are actually out, and I just wanted to show you a couple of the other options, okay? Even though I've just been going on about how good the steak and eggs is, but this is just a really simple breakfast if you've got not much of an appetite. So obviously it's not for me. This is croissant all the way up here. Can you see that? Okay, and I'm going to turn this around. Croissant with scrambled egg, bit of watermelon, and all of these croissants, they're all actually made in-house. Scrambled egg, watermelon, and by the way, I can tell that scrambled egg, light and fluffy, which is perfect. This is $1.40. Can you see that okay? All right. This is the French toast, which is absolutely awesome. I'm also not having that either, but again, something for you to see. Okay, so this is the Boss Breakfast. Now, how many of you have been watching my videos? What do I always talk about? The eye is in the detail, okay? So first of all, what have we got on here? Right, so we've got some bread, which has been nicely toasted, if you can see that all okay. That's really important, and that's nice and crunchy. Now, roast potatoes to actually go with the Boss Breakfast are here, and they are cooked really nice, okay? Bear in mind, this is a 340 baht breakfast, okay? Now, the eggs you can have any way you want, but I've got to be honest with you, for me, sunny side up is always the only way to go. Now, I just want to explain a little bit. This is chimichurri sauce, which is basically, it's got a lot of different herbs in, mainly sort of garlic, it's got some parsley in there, and essentially, and vinegar, by the way, and essentially, it works really well with the juiciness of the steak. So you've got the acidity of the vinegar and the dressing, and then you've got the juiciness of the steak. And it's really cool because I'll tell you what it's like. You get the hit of the really, really delicious steak, right, which is so juicy. Honestly, that is such a nice cut of meat to use for a steak for breakfast, okay? And it's almost like a delayed twang that actually comes back in, right? With the steak, you get the steak, you get the fat, and then you get that twang from the chimichurri sauce, which is, of course, homemade. It's a really, really cool attention to detail that just basically elevates this Boss breakfast of what some people would turn around and say is just basic steak and eggs, but it elevates it to the next level. And I have to say, you get a choice, of course, of eggs, right? You don't have to have them this way, you can have them another way, but I'm just splitting that. Look how good that goes. And I've been told here that they use really good quality free range eggs. Again, that's a really nice detail. They're cooked perfect. Now, I can't begin to tell you how good this steak is. It is tender, it is juicy. I know they're cliches like, oh, it melts in your mouth. It doesn't quite melt in your mouth, okay? But what it does, because you've got that fat content and it's a really tender cut of beef, right? It really does work on this breakfast. All of the ingredients, you know, the bread, the chimichurri sauce, the tomato, the potatoes, they all work in tandem, and it's cooked so well. And you know what? Well done to these guys, because so many other places are just knocking out the standard English breakfast, okay? This is something different, and I can tell why it's so busy in here all day long. Now, one of the reasons why I think the steak is great here is they're not using a normal cut of steak, they're actually using something called picanha steak. Now, that's actually right at the top, it's like a top of the rump, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a picture on the screen so you can see exactly where that steak actually comes from. And one of the reasons why they use that, it is one of the most tender cuts of meat, and it is absolutely, it's got a really good fat content. So do you know what it means? It means that it's really nice and juicy. Steak and eggs is very much like an American style breakfast, but it actually, see, you're never going to get away in this video without a little bit of history. But when you actually look back, it was, most of the time, it was the cowboys who were actually on the frontier, and they obviously had ample supply of beef, and they used to rustle up literally steak and eggs actually in the morning before they would actually go out on the ranch to do their daily work. It spread in popularity, and in the Second World War, steak and eggs was really popular, and the American troops were actually given steak and eggs. You know, it helped with morale. It was a very popular dish. Then as time has gone on, it's actually become almost part of culture and for fitness as well. So you could see actually Arnold Schwarzenegger tucking into his steak and eggs when he was training for Mr. Olympia, so it got linked to fitness. Sylvester Stallone, he had steak and eggs when he was actually training for Rocky. And more recently actually, Ronda Rousey, who was in the UFC, she put her fitness down to steak and eggs in the morning. So I'll be honest with you, I could definitely do the steak and eggs in the morning. It's just the working out bit that I always fall down on. I think it's also worth pointing out, by the way, that when you come to Sunflour, you don't actually just have to pop in for the food. They have got, even though, by the way, I'm just about to turn around and say they've got brilliant homemade cookies, which we'll be showing you later. But also, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but the lattes here are absolutely wonderful. Well, I suppose it's time for the rating, isn't it? Which is what you've all been waiting for. So shall I first of all get the bill out and go through everything? Now, a little bit of a disclosure, I actually paid a little bit extra for some extra steak because I wanted it to look really good. But the normal steak is 150 grams. That's not enough for most people, okay? It's a decent portion, but they put a little bit of extra steak on for me, okay? Now, I'm just gonna go through if you can see that all okay. Right, so that is our bill. Everything for 3 people came in at 935 baht, That's with some waters, some coffee, and you've seen pretty much what we've got. And I think that is pretty good value for money. I love reviewing little places like this because I'm mindful of the fact that just because I've lived here for a long time and I can turn around and rattle off 25, 30 places that will give you a really good dining in experience, not everyone that's watching these videos has kind of got that knowledge. And I honestly, genuinely set this channel up to help recommend places that I love going to you guys, all right? This is one of the places that I loved going to, okay? We've had a string of requests from restaurants actually to cover, but the fact of the matter is, if I don't believe in those places, if I don't believe the product's good, then I'm certainly not going to be recommending them to you, all right? Now, I haven't eaten everything off the menu here, okay? I always come in and I can never ever get past that breakfast, and you know why? Because it's excellent. They're really, really nice people here. I love the fact they make all their own homemade desserts, homemade cookies. I love the vibe here. The service has been really good. It's really popular most days, okay? So for me, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I think it's great value for money. Everything that I had was cooked perfect. That breakfast is a 10 star, okay? Absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed this video, and I hope you have as well, okay? Listen, there's only one thing to say. Thank you ever so much for liking, for subscribing, and for all of the nice comments that you leave. I do try and read them all, even the nasty ones, okay? Listen, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.